rest of the SEC presented by Geico, and Georgia may be able to score some points, but they want to, well, they may need to work on stopping some people next time out. 44-34 victory against Troy. We'll get into why nobody's going to want to play the Trojans again next season. But Sean Marino, he's a freshman for Georgia. Folks, he's got nearly 400 yards rushing the last 2 weeks. You are seeing a player between the hedges there. 3 touchdowns today and nearly 200 yards on the ground.
You know, if they play a bowl game, okay.
I haven't even introduced you yet.
No, I'm sorry.
Brando, Spencer Tillman, Jason Horowitz.
You promised me more time in this segment.
No, I did not about Troy.
No, but I was going to say about Sean Marino, he may break Herschel Walker's all-time freshman rushing record at Georgia because if they play in a bowl game and he stays healthy, he's going to have another chance to get a lot of yards.
Yes.
You know, I mean.
Yes. With the injuries to Brown and Lumpkin as well, he's the reason he's taken over.
Yeah.
But let's get into Troy for a sec because they started the season with Florida and Arkansas, or vice versa, Arkansas and Florida. They put up 26 against Arkansas. I believe it was 31 against Florida and then 34 here against Georgia. They won at Oklahoma State. Yeah. This is a football team that if I'm an SEC team next year, I don't want any part of it.
Well, you're not going to see a lot of people, breaking the gates down to get them scheduled. But again, it's part of what's happening in the landscape of college football. Teams are able to spread you out, whether it's Appy State,
They threw for 390 yards today against
a lot of teams can do that now.
Larry Blakeney is an old coach that worked with Pat Dye years ago, and there are a lot of good teams in the Sun Belt Conference, and really they have had some good teams there for quite some time. It's a league like a lot of others. One of those 11 conferences, non-BCS teams that are trying to make their hay. And sometimes if you're in a place like Troy, you got to play SEC schools, get the check, and move on. But there's a lot of talent in that part of the country, and it's being spread around, and that's an example of it.
And they won against Oklahoma State, and North Texas a few years ago was pretty good. They're in the Sun Belt.
They beat Missouri years ago at home.
Exactly. This is a good football team, and it's a good conference. Is definitely on the rise. Right. Florida Vanderbilt also took place today, and the Gators, a big victory. Vanderbilt had some chances to keep the score closer. It really wasn't a very good football team from the Commodores. A lot of turnovers there. 49-22 the final. But, guys, we've talked about this week in, week out. If Tim Tebow continues to play like he is, first of all, he will be in New York for when they announce the Heisman. But second of all, they got to keep him safe. This guy's going to get hurt.
But they did a better job of that today. I mean, Dan Mullen, their offensive coordinator, did a fine job of moving around. It's necessity being the mother of invention. They had other players, Caldwell. They got the ball to different guys, and they actually ran the ball exceptionally well. So I think what they did is understood you got a guy, irrespective of whether or not it's his non-throwing shoulder, you got to keep him healthy. So I think the need to do that caused some creativity to be interjected in their approach. So they're doing the job.
And then next week they get South Carolina, a game that
a team that's really smarting right now.
Yeah, a team that's struggling against Arkansas as we're doing this as well. A team that cannot stop the run, so Tebow may be successful there, but they do have to go to Columbia. All right. Also on the day, Auburn won out of conference. You also had Tennessee beating Ooh La La out of conference. You love Ooh La La down in your part of the area of the country. But there was a lot of good football played today. A lot of close games. A lot of questionable calls. Let's look at our stock up here for this afternoon. And Navy. How about that? Ending a 43-game, 44-year losing streak to Notre Dame. Kansas, 9-0 for the first time in 99 years. And somebody, by the way, needs to get Mark Mangino on the Jared diet. But that's a different story. Indiana, playing for Terry Hefner, they became bowl eligible. That's a great story in Oregon. For a while in this game, was just smacking the snot out of Arizona State.
Let me tell you something. Dennis Dixon, right now, okay,
he's the best.
He is the Heisman Trophy front runner, in my opinion. Now, as we're taping this, Florida State and BC are playing in a nor'easter. And, the best moment of the Heisman this year does belong to Matt Ryan, but the best Heisman performances so far this year have got to be Dennis Dixon's.
And let's not forget what he did at Michigan also.
Absolutely.
That was a Heisman performance as well.
And that, it only grows as Michigan continues their run 8 straight now since they've lost big time to Oregon. I think it only broadens the horizon for Dennis Dixon.
And Spencer, at the risk of sounding as though we're giving Notre Dame any kind of, I don't know why we're giving Notre Dame any conversation at all. They are basically an irrelevant program right now. But
you know what?
Any
should
other
be
coach,
relevant, though. They
if
should be
any
relevant.
other coach
there you go.
had done this
Bob Davie,
with a brand new 10-year contract, would we be talking about
how quiet is it? That's my. It's almost like we've accepted it. We've accepted it, but
the people that gave him the 10-year contract have accepted it.
They've kept it quiet. But again, I think
they're last. Jason,
I think the onus is on the media
they're
to give
last
some
and
scrutiny
next
here
to
as
last
well.
in offensive
I
category.
understand. My question is, How come nobody's talking about Carl Durrell's job being up for grabs
Well,
when they
they
lost
are.
to Notre Dame?
They are, actually.
There's some
They
people
are.
talking about Carl
There
Durrell.
was talk
They
today
blew an
that the
opportunity
loser.
They lost today to Arizona.
Yeah, well, the loser of that game, supposedly, if you read the papers out west, the losing coach in that game was probably going to be on the firing line.
Mike Stoops won.
Yeah, but Willie Tuatama made some great plays.
Yes, he did.
And I think that's the reason why they won the football game.
Yeah.
I think Stoops is going to get a mulligan. I think he'll be back.
Well, he plays well in November. November has been his.
Carl Durrell's team is like a surfer
You
boy.
can't figure him out.
They're like a surfer
They can't
boy
figure whether
Jekyll
they
and
want to
Hyde.
go
know what they
surfing
are?
today or go play a football.
You know what
Exactly.
they are? They are the Georgia Tech of the West Coast.
Yeah, I
One
agree
week
with
they
that.
play fantastic, and Clemson is what
Well,
they're
and you
throwing
know,
there as
this
well.
is one of those situations because the thoughts were on Carl Durrell. He was being, kind of weaned at UCLA to be a head coach in the NFL. That's going to work against him now.
Yeah.
Because there are going to be a lot of people saying, whoa, wait a minute. You were already anointed to be in the NFL, and you're just here at UCLA. Carl Durrell's a really great guy, and a lot of people were rooting for him. But I'm telling you, when your team goes out and lays egg after egg, like that team has, that does not bode well.
Jay Novell, his offensive coordinator, came from Nebraska, is a pretty darn good coach. There's going to be a lot of coaches.
And his
get
athletic
caught in that
director,
wake as
Guerrero,
well.
loves him.
Yeah.
Now, that may help him, too. Maybe he'll get a mulligan because Guerrero, the athletic director, who's a great guy, a UCLA man, might give him a USC game. It may come down to that.
Let's see how they do
USC.
because they'll get USC and then they get a bowl. Real quickly, let's do the stock down real quickly for this afternoon. And, of course, obviously Notre Dame on that list. Nebraska giving up 76 to
Callahan
Kansas.
may not last the week.
No, his team has just given up. South Florida hasn't won since being number 2 in the BCS in Wisconsin. Not so much because for a while they played well at Ohio State. But, Tim, real quickly, the call that you really disagreed
I
with.
remember Brett Bielema is a good coach. Why? You're down by 1 touchdown. It's 24-17. You've surrendered 14 unanswered. Why go for a fake punt inside your 25-yard line? You're sending a message. Donovan had been playing well, threw the ball beautifully.
They played
through the
without
course of the
P.J.
day.
Hill as well.
Did not have
Donovan
P.J.
got
Hill.
back.
Maybe in the back of his mind that was the point. We don't have we're running with our third string running back. Maybe that's why he did it. Wrong time.
Yep.
He sent a message to his team. They caved the rest of the way, and Beckman and Wells went crazy on the ground and in the air, and Ohio State ran away with it.
A 21-point victory. For more on that one or the rest of college football on this Saturday, boy, this season has been phenomenal, and it's getting better. Texas, which neither of these guys like, they escaped Oklahoma State twice, down 21.
You talk about a coach that's been running on empty.
Yeah.
I mean, he makes Les Miles pale by comparison.
Real quickly, I have a feeling we'll be talking about them again some other time this college football season. For these two gentlemen, Spencer Tillman and Tim Brando, I'm Jason Horowitz. Take care, folks.
You got it.